Happy Friday, folks. We're going to go over today's Lions news. A lot to cover. We're going to be talking about the depth chart. How many cornerbacks have we had on this roster? What do we got now? Because the Lions signed Khalil Dorsey. We're going to get into that. Graham Glasgow speaks. The Lions salary cap. Lions tender James Houston. Obviously, we're going to get into the DJ Reader news that we signed him and go over it. Now, look, folks. Free agency is still going on, so if there is breaking news today and I am available, make sure you come back here so we can break it down if the Lions sign a player. I will be on the Huge Show today from 3 to 6 p.m. So if you want live updates, 96.1 West Michigan. You can also go to the Huge Show on hugeshow.com, and it's right there. You can just press play. Just like if you're out of area and you want to listen to 97.1 The Ticket, it's the same type of concept. Let's get this thing going. All right, folks. So we're going to get into a little bit of news here, and this piece of news here is basically to clear up the air because I've been asked this a couple of times so far. So I want to be able to let the individuals who may not know this is going on here. So the Lions officially tendered James Houston because I've been getting asked as James Houston comes back. All of this information about James Houston. So before we get into the bulk of the news, yes, we tendered James Houston. So if James Houston does not sign it or go with the tender, he can forfeit this year, but he can't sign with another team. If he signs it, he can play this year. That's how this tender works. So he'll be playing this year. He is on the Detroit Lions this season, unless he chooses not to be, in which I don't see at all that happening. So James Houston is tendered, and he is good to go, clearing the air on the James Houston thing. Graham Glasgow speaks about the loss of Jonah Jackson, and it's actually, look, he makes a lot of sense here, and I kind of agree with it. Now, he talked about Kawada Wasaka coming in, being starter, and Colby Sorsdale competing for it. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute because I don't think that's the case. But he gets in here. I think we could be really, really good, even losing Jonah Jackson. I think Jonah's an amazing player. He's very talented. He's a good guard. I just said this. I think that the contract speaks for itself. A lot of other teams also think that Jonah's really good. At the end of the day, it comes down to we're going to work, we're going to get after it and figure it out. We talked about Colby Sorsdale and Kyoto Awasaka potentially competing for this role. We're going to get in this in a second. I think that Yoda's super solid. I think that when you watch him play, it feels like he's not really deficient in the area. I feel like that's good attribute to have. With the offensive line play, if you do one thing really good and the other thing not so very good, I feel like people are going to be pretty upset with you. In regards to Colby, I feel like he was a rookie. I think that he came in a long way. He progressed pretty far. I feel like he's just watching the grow technique-wise. And just from the process game last year coming from William and Mary, I feel like it was a very good year for Colby Sorsdale. Developmental process. And he also talked about his status in free agency. He just wanted to get it done. So he didn't want to play that little free agent game. He just wanted to get back to the Detroit Lions. And, you know, a lot of people are like that, myself included. I'm type of individual. I just want to get whatever it is done right then and there, not waste time. So we're going to go over his. First off, he's correct. Jonah Jackson's really good, and we're going to have to fill that hole. This draft, we're going to be filling that hole. And he talks about Kyoto Wasaka and Colby Sorsdale competing for that spot. That sounds great in theory, but the Detroit Lions are going to be drafting a guard to play that left guard position. I like Kyoto Wasaka. I do, as a backup, because he's hot or cold, and we can't have hot or cold during NFL games. We need to be hot. We need to get a guy that is consistently pretty good, not someone that's good and not bad in the same game. So we don't need that. We need consistency at that position. Now, Colby Sorsdale, he's developmental. There's no way you want to be able to depend on him to be a starter. You want to develop him until he's ready, and he wasn't ready last year. Don't go into this season expecting he's going to be ready to take over the starting left guard position, and then if it doesn't work out, you're screwed throughout the whole year. The Detroit Lions are going to go into this year's draft, and there's plenty of guards the Lions can get, and you got plenty of draft picks to do it. So the Lions are good to go there. So if you're worried about what are we going to do with Jonah Jackson, my thing to you is this one is pretty simple to me. They're going to draft his replacement. and I fully expect it to happen in the first 3 rounds. It could be the first pick. I think probably the most likely scenario, it's the second round. You get a Cooper Beebe, who I really like. I think he's a second-round talent. I would love to have him on this offensive line. There's other guards as well, but I think he's perfect for what Detroit is trying to do with the physicality, protection, and mauling in the run game. He makes a lot of sense to the Detroit Lions. So, need not worry, folks. The Lions totally understand that they have a hole at that guard position, and they're going to get at it. They're going to get it in the draft. Remember, it is a 2-part to building a roster. Free agency and the draft. You're not going to get everything in free agency, and that's a terrible idea. You got to get it in the draft. You get selected players in free agency, and you get your main components in the draft, and that's what they're going to do here. So let me know in the comment section right now. Would you like to have Colby Sorsdale starting at left guard, Kyoto Awasaka start at left guard, or do you want the Lions to draft a player at that left guard position? Let me know in the comments below. Let's go ahead and talk about here the Detroit Lions cap space so you guys kind of get an idea of what's going on. The Detroit Lions right now are at $28.4 million in cap. You can't really see it over here, but that's how much the cap space is. So the Lions got still a lot of cap to put in here. A lot of cap to put in here, and we got moves we can still make. Now look, primarily of this cap is probably going to be going to Ali McNeil and Amon-Ra St. Brown, and if a Jared Goff does an extension, that's what I see a lot of this money. That's why the Lions still got a lot of cap space going towards that. We got to sign our own guys. So just because we have $28 million and we're really good in cap in the rest of the National Football League, doesn't mean we're just going to go continue to sign players. Remember, we have to re-sign our own guys first. So maybe they make one more move. Maybe they get another edge rusher somewhere or something else. But I do personally believe the big splash moves that the Lions have made is over. So don't expect them to go out there and, continue to be the Chicago Bears or another team that's spending a lot of money. The Lions got to re-sign their own guys. And matter of fact, the Bears just traded for Keenan Allen yesterday. That the Bears are secretly building a really good football team. We got to watch for that one too in the NFC North. So the NFC North is definitely tightening up. The Minnesota Vikings, just right before I created this video, got another first-round pick this year. I think they're trying to get into the top. It's probably the top 5 to get a quarterback. They made that trade to get an extra first-round pick. So you got the NFC North. Looks like they're probably going to have 2 rookie quarterbacks, Caleb Williams and whoever the Vikings are trying to trade up and get. And you got Jordan Love and Jared Goff. Let's continue here and talk about the Detroit Lions. They re-signed cornerback Khalil Dorsey. Now, this is not the biggest news here. He is a corner, but he plays special teams as well. But it's the amount of corners right now on the roster. In the last couple of years, went back, for the corner room, generally 7 corners are on the 53-man roster. That's how it's been the last couple of years under Brad Holmes. And you go to the depth chart right now, and when I went through the depth chart for last year, Brian Branch was considered a corner, so this is the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We got 7 corners on the roster. The last couple of years, it's been 7. I'm not saying that this is going to be it, because it's not. They're still going to bring people in to compete, because it's not like these 7 are. It's just going to be that they all make the roster. It's going to bring a couple more in to compete. But this is the reason why I'm saying I don't see another big move for the corner position. I know a lot of people want L'Jarius Sneed or somebody else. I don't see that happening because we still got the draft, and I fully expect the Detroit Lions to draft a corner in the top 3 picks. I do. So that would put us at 8. So at that point, and they want to bring Chase Lucas back to compete as well. They want to bring Chase Lucas back. That would make it 9. That's a lot of corners right there, and I think just knowing the numbers itself, it's pretty much done with the big moves for the corner position. It really, really is. It's done with the big moves. So don't expect anything until the draft. Significant. If they do a Chase Lucas or something like that, I'm not counting that. Significant moves. I'm just big ones. I love looking at the defensive tackle position. Look at here, Ali McNeil and DJ Reader, so much better than what it last year. I liked Isaiah Buggs. DJ Reader is a much improvement over Isaiah Buggs. The problem right here is this one. Marcus Davenport right now is at the right defensive end position. We don't got that many edges. We don't. Look at this, folks. John Kaminsky, Marcus Davenport, Josh Paschal, Aiden Hutchinson, and then some unknowns. So the Lions are going to be hitting the edge position still. Again, Romeo Okwara, Charles Harris, Julian Okwara gone. So they need a couple more. So they're going to get a couple, whether it be in this free agency period or in the draft. I suspect they'll probably get another one in free agency and get another one in the draft. Maybe they double up. It could be like a hybrid linebacker, pass rusher type of deal. But you're seeing right here that we still need to get edge. It's important to look at that. So I expect the Lions to make some moves on edge. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be some big name. It could be. Like maybe after the draft, if they don't get the guy they want, they could make a trade for Hassan Reddick or something like that. But for right now, that's what the Detroit Lions are going on here. And so we need help at the edge position. And that's the bottom line. And so we're going to get that help. Right now, here's the available edges for the Detroit Lions in free agency. You got Emmanuel Ogbah, Carl Lawson, Randy Gregory, of course, Romeo Okwara. Yannick Ngakoue is an interesting one. I think he did all right for the Chicago Bears. He puts up some sacks. He's not the best at stopping the run, but he can pass rush. Chase Young, I don't think the Lions are targeting him at all because of his lack of motivation on some plays. That's an issue right there. Obviously, Charles Harris, we're not going to do that. Jadeveon Clowney is someone that the Lions could definitely look at here and get some help for this football team. But there you go. You know, there is some edges out there. Now, the big names are primarily gone. They are. The big names. That's why I think that they're going to get a guy in the NFL draft early in the draft because they need help at that edge position. There's no way they're going to be relying on Marcus Davenport. So hit that notification bell. Maybe the Lions sign some players today so you don't miss out. With that said, folks, adios.